And okay, so this meeting is being recording, and
Vanessa Rudis joins the meeting.
I'm going to mute George. Thank you, George. All right. Good morning. Good morning, everybody. So the purpose of the meeting is we've got two groups. We're bringing together the Purview coaching and consulting artists is one group, and then people we met at the Org Development and Change Conference in Connecticut, and we had a wonderful time, and people said they wanted to come and check this out. So our purpose in meeting today is the following. We are successful, accomplished, and talented people, all of us. We are artists, coaches, and consultants. We meet to share and co-create stories of mutual inspiration. We motivate, inspire, and engage in collaborative efforts as joint ventures and various forms of mutual support. That'll become clear. The agenda today is I'm going to ask each of you to introduce yourself and give a gratitude for one thing in your life that you have and to keep it into a sentence. So, for example, I'm David Bogie, and in my gratitude journal today, I wrote about Grace Ann because it says gratitude for grace, and she popped into my mind as I'm grateful for Grace Ann's grace. So that's an example that's kind of like 20, 30 seconds, if you can do that. And if you can't, Grace Ann has a timer. She will flash the screen. The second thing that I'm going to do, I'm going to give an overview of the socioeconomic aspects of Purview. That'll be new for both audiences since I didn't do it at the conference and only did the Purview. And it's new for the Purview people because we haven't talked about the socioeconomic aspects of our consulting, coaching, and artistry. So I'll keep that to about 15 minutes. Then Olivia is going to talk about ways to increase and enhance your visibility and your business potential, be you a coach, a consultant, or an artist. In whatever way Olivia wants to do that for about 5 minutes. And then we play a game here called breakout rooms. So, and we're set up 5 rooms for you. We'll tell you about that when the time comes. And you're allowed to move from room to room on your own. And every 20 minutes or so, I'll interrupt and say, maybe you want to move to another room now and experience joy from other rooms. So if you've never done that, it's a lot of fun, and people keep voting to keep doing it. Um, so you'll be able to roam around and have conversations with people about 5 different topics, one at a time. So with that, I'd like to have you go around and do your gratitude statement. And what we do is we pass the talking stick. So I was the first person to go, and I'm going to pass it to Grace Ann.
Thank you, David. I am also grateful for you, but especially this morning for the rain. Our trees and bushes were looking very thirsty, and I appreciate the rain. And the talking stick. Next on my screen is Olivia.
Thank you, Raziel. I'm Olivia Parwood, live in Santa Monica. Happy to be here. And I'm grateful for Tom and how he introduced me to this whole way of being grateful and living a grateful life. And I will pass to Jack Roddy.
Hey, thank you, Olivia. And what a great message from you. My gratitude today is recently I've been hearing about people in my age category getting ill and getting sick and having some, areas of concern around health. So I'm grateful that in my age bracket that I am 100% healthy. Now, somebody said, Jack, don't say that because that's a superstition. That'll trigger something happening. But I don't buy that superstition. I'm grateful for being healthy at this stage of my life. And I will pass it over to Shelley.
Thank you, Jack. Good morning, everyone. My name is Shelley Sager. I am grateful for sunny skies and temperatures today that are going to get to 80. And I will pass it to Dawn.
Thank you, Shelley. Hello, everyone. My name is Dawn White, and I am grateful for stable health because about 3 years ago, I was diagnosed with lupus, and it's been an interesting journey. But I feel good today, so I'm just thankful for that. And I will pass it over to Anne Marie.
Good morning, everyone. I am very thankful for my husband, and he will be shocked that I am saying that, so I might not tell him. But I am. We've had a lot between, parents, illness and death, and we have young kids, and we're just in this just a shitstorm right now. But I'm really thankful for I'm really thankful for him and his his joy and his stability, and I'm really thankful for him. And I am going to pass it over to Carol, friend Carol.
Hello, this is exciting to be meeting a new group. My initial reaction was, I'm grateful to be home. I left on the 21st to go to the ISODC conference and arrived home late last night. But when I dug deeper, I'm really grateful for meeting David and Grace Ann at the ISODC conference because it opened the door to really writing what I'm in the midst of struggling with as a story. And I will call on Monty.
Good morning, everyone, and I'm likewise grateful about so many things. I live in the mountains of Colorado, Estes Park, for those who've been to Estes Park. Family's been coming in and out of the valley since the 1880s, so we have a strong heritage here. So my gratitude is to my great-grandparents, my grandparents, and so on and so forth, and the legacy that they have left. And let's see, I'm wondering who hasn't been. Everybody on my screen right now has so far spoken. Joy, I see your hand. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm Joy Harris, and I'm in Cincinnati, Ohio. So I have so many things for which to be grateful, but I am grateful that I've been able to extend my 3-day holiday. I continue to extend it and extend it and extend it with good family and friend relationships. Yeah, grateful for that. So let's go to, I pass the talking stick to Vanessa.
Joy, I'm grateful for farmers markets and all the abundance of fresh produce that I have available in Los Angeles. Like truly, it's one of my favorite things in the whole world. So, and I will pass it to Lucero.
Hi, good morning, everyone. It's very good to see you, and it's great to see new faces. My name is Lucero Rodriguez, and I am grateful for divine love. Yes, the love that connects all of our hearts, our minds, our spirits together, and the beauty in nature, and breath, which is the connection to all of it. So, yeah, super grateful. And I pass the word to George. Hi, George.
You'll have to unmute, George, your button again. Thank you.
Audio now unmuted.
Okay. Good morning. I'm very grateful for two things right now. One, the rain, for sure. And number two, David Bogey's excellent technical letters writing skills. I'm a creative writer. I don't know how he does it, but he makes me look fantastic. Thank you, David. I don't know who's next. I can't see anybody.
Well, how about Jim Rogers or Tom Lemke?
I'll go with Tom Lemke.
Thank you, George.
Yeah.
My name is Tom Lemke. I'm also known, according to David Bogey, as the Prince of Gratitude. I'm in Santa Monica, California, and I'm very grateful today for my love and partner, Olivia. And I will pass to, let's see, Ken.
Good morning, everybody from Kansas. Ken Long here. I'm grateful to the courageous people who offered to listen without judgment so that true stories can emerge. You're amazing. Love to everybody. I will call on Jim Rogers. Did you go?
No, thank you, Ken. Good morning, everyone from Las Cruces, New Mexico, where we did get some rain, which is wonderful. And I'm grateful for that I can dance. Let's see.
Peter Demarest just came in and we're doing gratitude. So, Jim, you could choose him if you want.
Okay. So I'll choose Peter to introduce himself there.
Oh, he's muted.
Goes better when you unmute, Peter.
Yep, sorry about that. So much to be grateful for. I am grateful for the OD community today. And the gift they are to the world that too much of the world doesn't know about yet. But we're going to do something about that.
Peter, I'm grateful that Grace Ann's going to let me enroll in your 8 sessions and pay for it out of her pocket. So,
well, that makes 2 of us then.
Yeah. So it's a go. Okay. I believe everybody has gone, and I hope you enjoyed the gratitude part of our session. Next, I'm going to talk about what is socioeconomic approach to PERVIEW. PERVIEW is the name of our group. And it's new to both groups. And it's also part of a manuscript I'm developing for Peter Demarest, so he knows about my orientation to net value. So as I continue to learn about it. So with that, I'm going to get started. But I want to tell you the rest of the agenda. Olivia is then going to talk about how to develop your art, your business of coaching and consulting. And that'll be one of the rooms. There'll be 4 other rooms she'll introduce. And then we'll do the game of hopping from breakout room to breakout room on your own initiative. You're empowered to go where you want. And then we'll wrap it up with a gratitude for the session, if you have one. Or, yeah, I hated it, whatever you want to say. Then no rules on that. And with that, I'm going to get started. Is there any questions before I begin? Okay. Then I'm going to go ahead and get started. That should work. All right. All right. Back up a little bit. Okay. So at the conference, I introduced an iceberg, but people said I should change the iceberg to something more creative. So I picked a tree. And 10% of our storytelling is above ground. Context is needed to interpret our storytelling. The deep storytelling, 90% is below ground. And that's when in PERVIEW, we look at trauma, memories, stuck thoughts, being unloved by our inner child, unloved by our inner child again, because it's very important. Intuitive, authentic self, our true storytelling self. And the purview that I introduced at the conference, and people know about it here already, if you were in my session, but not everybody was, because they had people like Peter in a different session and I was in a different session, et cetera. But essentially, we have 7 steps characterizing you and your organization at your best, externalizing what we call the problem saturated account, because we don't go down into that and repeat it and reinforce it. And we sympathize with some payoff that's keeping that problem saturated account in your mind. And we revise understanding the consequences of staying stuck in a particular story. We strategize several little while moments of exception when we went against the dominant stories of our life that are holding us back, and we create little wow moments, as many as we need to sort of tip the scale. We rehistoricize to restory the history. In other words, we create a new history without the problem saturated. So it's much like appreciative inquiry. And then we publicize the new story of ourselves. So those are the 7 steps. I'm going to apply the 7 steps today to what's called the socioeconomic approach. And I call this the purview tree of storytelling, because most of what matters is deep below the surface. And so now we'll get going with that. So I created another drawing today, the 4-leaf clover. This has been training that Grace Ann and I have had in France with Henri Savall, Véronique Zardet, Amandine Savall, Marc Bonnet are the key players. And we've gone to France for 20 years, and we're going next week. We're so happy and to go back and join with them. And so I'm really well trained. I taught this consulting method for over 20 years at New Mexico State University, trained multiple doctoral students, et cetera. So this is called the PERVIEW SocioEconomic 4-leaf clover. If you want to know more about it, there's a volume of the encyclopedia, and there's probably 50 other books on socioeconomics, but this one is about storytelling, and it was edited by Amandine Savall, the head of the socioeconomic group in France. And it's a worldwide consulting operation with, it's had over 2,000 clients. It's trained a number of doctoral students, and has trained me. And I got to train Amandine Savall when she was only this high. So she now runs the company. Part of what we do is create storytelling circles that do what we call an upward spiral of DPIE, so diagnosis of the situation by taking copious notes, diagnosis of the situation by doing interviews and focus groups and taking notes. We don't record, we only scribble the notes verbatim. That's the methodology. And we read all the documents we can read and get all the history we can, and we go through all the numbers. After the diagnosis, we propose a project in teams. So it'd be a number of project teams arranged horizontally and vertically across the organization. And that diagnosis and project development is the first 6 weeks of the socioeconomic intervention. The next 6 weeks is implementation, and we're evaluating the results. So each team does cycles of diagnosis, project development, implementation, and evaluation of net value, Peter, net value. So, and those discussions cascade across the board of directors, the executive team, managers, and everybody that participated in the group. So imagine launching at the end of 6 weeks, 10, 20, depending on the size of the company or hospital or whatever it is, university. So those are launched. So This is the way I used to draw the four-leaf clover, looking at the working conditions, the work organization, what's called the three C's, the time management, where the training is happening. Usually it's happening to the wrong people at the wrong times in the wrong places, but that's part of the analysis, and the strategic implementation. Savall calls them dysfunctions. I call them opportunities because they're the place where we identify in those 6 main categories with probably 100 sub-themes. And so our copious notes and data is typed into the computer each day by the assessment team that goes out the first 6 weeks. After the 6 weeks, we have a meeting with all the people that participated in the board of directors, et cetera. And we say, this is how much money you are losing now by behaving in the way you behave with the structures you have. And the reason you have is because 50% of your costs in any operation are hidden. These are some of the examples: absenteeism, occupation injuries, but say staff turnover, for example, is costing $1 billion in corporations across the world right now. For millennials, turnover, this is an example, non-quality productivity gaps or something else. So it's a very process-oriented. The 4 leaves are kind of our ingoing 6 weeks assessment, and then it continues to be there. The ones on the bottom, I'll show you a little bit better diagram. So let's look at how this all integrates. 10% of what we know in storytelling is words, gestures, and tones. We don't understand the 90% that's in the subconscious. I'll get to that. But there's an alarming phrase by Henri Savall in the 2024 handbook for World Encyclopedia on Storytelling and Socioeconomics. He says, storytelling is necessary but insufficient. The reason it's necessary and insufficient is because 90% of the stories are filtered out that you need to do in your analysis, and 10% is up there in the word, gestures, and tones. But we're not getting the 90% of what is the cacophony, all the voices going in all different views, directions, and the unconscious. In Purview, we're very focused on that 90%. And so is Henri Savall in his analysis of the socioeconomic, because he believes that's where you can find out what's happening. Okay, so when we look at the symptomatic, what we're doing is the storytelling is necessary but not sufficient for org development and change, because the story filters filtering out what Henri Savall calls data, traumas and taboos. Data is another word for data, but it's the qualitative data in the 90% zone that's getting filtered out. I guess it makes sense in French, but we'll have to explore that another time. Now, we listen to the action categories I showed you before, the working conditions, work organization. We do observation of where they put their training, their time management. We look at the whole work organization. We look at what they're not implementing in strategy because they're too involved in cacophony to do strategy, often the smaller ones. We look at the structures that are going on, like the organization structures, the technological structures, et cetera, the professional groups, the pressure groups. And we look at the behaviors of the individuals and across all those groups. Finally, I think the biggest thing about the socioeconomic approach we've learned in 20 some years is that they're recycling a number of hidden costs that we find. For Henri Savall, 50% of the costs are hidden. So in whatever your operation is, because he's an economist, an accountant, and a socio-tech person. He combines all those skills. So we do a very meticulous analysis of hidden costs to find revenue streams Nobody is ever laid off. They do reassign people that are contributing to costs and not revenue. So that does happen. The roots that we're after is if people are busy doing everybody else's jobs, and those jobs can be done by people at a much lower salary, we calculate that difference. If people are spending time on things that are not their jobs because of the disorganization, we calculate that. If they're consuming lots of resources in ways that don't need to be consumed because of inefficiencies and ineffectiveness, we can calculate that number. We also calculate underproduction, and we calculate the under potential of human beings, the under potential of the systems themselves, the under potential of the organization. And we put out there the risks, too, of behaving the way the company or hospital or university agency is behaving. We put all that into dollar terms. How do we do it? We take our interviews. We ask how frequently this happens. We ask for people to estimate what's the cost of it. If they don't know, we go find out. And we tabulate the whole number. And it's usually a pretty shocking number. The next thing, just to stress the PERVIEW Socioeconomic Consulting and Coaching. And I have not introduced this before to people, but now you can see the whole model displayed. And this is the slides I sent out to you already in the invitation. So you have these. Then, so you can see it's a very detailed, comprehensive socioeconomic analysis to find the value lost and the value potential. So I hope that gives you some idea. To shock people, I show them the downward spiral of doom. And what happens when you have non-quality, excess salary, poor time management, overconsumption, lack of strategy implementation, your communication, coordination, and conciliation, they now call it cooperation, by the way, is what we call the 3 C's. And that's the analysis. And we want to turn that downward spiral into an upward spiral. And we use ensemble leadership for that. There's a number of things that I'm not going to go into today. I just wanted to show you that the quality, the relation between structures and behavior on the bottom 3 points, the quality in terms of hidden cost levels, the units of what's good operating quality succeeds in reducing initial impact of those 6 areas of dysfunction: working conditions, work organization, time management, training, etc., and the strategy. This is a very scientific model by Henry Savall, and it's been documented by me in a number of books. I've been privileged to write introductions to the books in French that Henry Savall, not all of them, but a few of them that they've done. And so it begins with observation, conceptualization, 2, modeling it, 3, they call it modelization, but I'll let them do that. Doing the experiments with the DPIEs, doing evaluation of those results, formulation with the mirror effect, what's called the mirror effect meetings. So after the first 6 weeks, there's a big sit down we call the mirror effect, where we mirror back what are these hidden costs in the situation and why coaching and consulting will pay for itself, and why it's really going to be a very small fraction of revenue generated in this next 6 weeks and the following 6 weeks. That's just a summary of those items: exploring, conceptualizing, modeling. I did relate it to our very fun thing we do with abduction, which is creating what you would call hypotheses, but Charles Saunders Peirce called them wild guesses, and then doing deductions when we model things of the theory. And later on, you do at the bottom induction cases, like building cases. So each of the DPIEs becomes a case that we work through in this kind of conceptual framing. I'm not going to go through the rest of these because that would take us a long time. But I'm just going to say that we combined the model of the four-leaf clover of the socioeconomic people from France who have a worldwide consulting operation in socioeconomics with what we do in Purview. And both of us are trying to get below the ground level to the trauma-stuck thoughts, unloved, and the intuitive, authentic self that's down there somewhere. And we try to get to the ways of the 6 roots of the four-leaf clover. And that's about it. And I hope I did okay on my time. Did I do okay, Grace Ann? Okay. Well, with that, if you have any questions, you can ask them now or forever hold your peace. So, but I hope that gives you some idea of our long-standing relationship with the French group. At this time, I'll turn it over to Olivia so we can get on with the fun activities of the day. And
I'll add one little thing. If you noticed the picture of Henri Savall, he wears a bow tie. It's kind of his trademark. That's why Ronnie started wearing a bow tie.
That's great. Thanks, David. That was really fascinating. All right, so I had been telling David a while ago, like some of the things to think about for if you want to build a business virtually, or maybe combining it with in person. And so he said, all right, well, talk about it in our meeting. So I don't claim to be an expert, but I've been through lots of training. So I'm just going to share what I've learned. And to develop your business online, it's really all about marketing. And we think about in the past, the standard used car salesman, right? How you dread getting around them, and selling's kind of gotten a bad rap. I really feel like now it's about building relationships, and we have probably all heard of the laws of attraction. And so we can use our energy or frequency to attract those we're meant to serve. And so it's really important that we get clear about who it is we want to help. I feel like if you know who you're here to help and you can describe them in great detail, even if it may be broader than that, if you get very clear, if it's somebody who's trying to start a business or maybe having issues in their life, just really get clear about who you are here to serve. Could be a business and what are their struggles. And we've talked about that today with David's work. So it can be individuals or businesses. And then think about your goal. Is it to make money right away or build your list or your audience? I think it really, you have to have kind of a dual approach. If you need to make money, do things that'll get you quick wins. And then at the same time, be thinking about how to really build your brand. One of the things that I always tell people, if you want to build your brand, is to think about ways to build a list. And you could have thousands or even millions of followers on YouTube, but if YouTube goes away, you lose everything. So it's really good to have your own list of prospects and customers. And ways to do that, I'll talk about in a minute. The first thing you really need is a lead magnet. So if you haven't heard of that, it's something you give away for free. And it could be a PDF, 5 tips for something, or a free ebook, or a blueprint, or a quiz. The quizzes are really popular now. People love to take quizzes. So if you can come up with a quiz that kind of leads people into what you offer, that's a great lead magnet. And you can give them away free. Some other ones, 5-day challenges or just challenges in general, or a mini course even can be a lead magnet. And then there's active. So those are more passive to have as a way to get somebody, when they want your lead magnet, they would click a link and then join your mailing list. And that's how you build your list. Some active lead magnets are the 30-minute coaching or business strategy session. People do that, or to a group, it could be a webinar or maybe a low-cost master class or low-cost training, some like $37 or $97, depending on what you're offering. The next thing you want is a lot of visibility. So you could do social media, webinars do that, make videos, go to networking groups. There's a lot that are free and you get a minute or two to say what you do. And then you drop in your link with your lead magnet and people will connect with you. So you don't really need a lot of infrastructure. If you're a coach, you go to you may need a calendar, but even so, you just could have people email you. So let's say you're a coach and you can do individual healing work. You get in a networking group, you share what you do, you talk about who you serve, and then you say, I'm going to put my email in the chat and reach out. I'm offering a 30-minute free session, something like that. So you don't really need anything else. But if you want to build a list, you do need some online place to perhaps, receive that. There's some free ones, there's free calendars you can start with, and then there's some fancier tools. And then I'll just end by saying that really key is mindset. And we have wonderful coaches in this community that can help you with that. And just a really quick story, when I was first doing training around selling, they asked us, and it was in a healing environment, they asked us if we had any charge around the words on the list. And one of the words was sales closing. And I realized I got this tight feeling in my gut. And I thought, what's going on? So I did a little bit of processing, going into my past history. And I realized that my mother was a really great saleswoman, and she died when I was 20 of cancer. And when I remember at her funeral, they were glorifying her as burning the candle at both ends and how great she was. But I had linked being a great saleswoman to death. And so once I cleared that, it really changed things. So you may have something in your unconscious, or as David would show, down in the roots of the tree that are preventing you from being successful. So that's my presentation. And if anybody wants some documentation, I can share what I put together, or, just reach out to me. I'll put my email in the chat. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Olivia. And I want to say that one of the things I'm working on is Jim Rogers' website for his photography business. And I got the website up, and now we're getting the prices up in the next, and that's at davidbogie.com/JR. And you can look at that.
So can I just say, David, related to Jim's work, something he could do to draw people to his website would be to do like a little video that just says, shares a couple of his pictures and how he took those pictures. And people might be interested in that, then they go to his website. So just a thought around trying to, selling art is a little different than what others are selling. So there's ways to draw people in, no matter what you're doing.
Jim, I agree with that. Oh, sorry, Olivia, got the speaker up. I have a friend that created the Rolling Stones tongue, so he's a longtime designer. And one of the things that's really helped him get a huge following is he just talks about the backstories of these various artists. So hung around with Grace Slick or whatever, and hung around the Stones, and there's stories that no one else has ever heard. So Jim, when you're talking about how do you do your photography, what Olivia is saying is come up with that. People love that stuff, and they want to know, how was this done? And what is some unique thing about this? So I agree with that, Olivia. Thank you.
Jim, I hope you don't mind us talking about you.
Not at all. I'm ready to soak it all up and see where that takes me.
We've been working with Jim Rogers for what, 15 years, maybe 20. So
it seems like a lifetime.
Peter has a question, I think, or a comment.
A comment. Thank you, Olivia and David, for the invite here. Hello to everybody I know. Olivia, you shared about how you got over the concept of sales. Struggled with a similar thing until I dug into the meaning of words, because, we make meaning of words. And a lot of meaning is given out of our social observations. And we've all experienced what it means to get sold. And the idea that selling is about getting the order, getting the money, getting the person to want what you want. The interesting thing is, if you dig into the etymology, origin of the word or the verb to sell, you will discover that it actually means to give. It doesn't mean to get. And that little shift was a bit of a game changer in my attitude towards the process of selling.
Thank you.
For what that's worth.
Beautiful. Thanks.
So what do you want to do now, Olivia?
Well, Ken has his hand up. So
Oh, I
let's
didn't
hear
see
from
that. I saw the
Ken.
circle. Hi, Ken.
Hey, Jim, I need 30 of your curated slides that I can put in a book for my energy work for traders that we can accompany with our drum sensei for a package which will get the word out to 50,000 followers. So I'll send you a note separately.
Thank you. Oh,
Well, that's synergy in action. So, yeah. I have a lead magnet at purview.org. You go there and it asks you for your email and your contact name, and then it offers you a free download of how to end millennial turnover, or some things to do about it, as a ebook. And if you don't want that, go to the lower right-hand side and you can click to get in the website. But anyway, yeah.
I have a lead magnet at giftfromolivia.com. So if you like to have a clever domain for your, if you can get it for your name somehow, it's fun and you can remember it. And so I didn't mention, but if you're on a podcast, that's a great way to get your name out. Either be a guest or start your own. It can be really fun if you share knowledge and you want to highlight other people's knowledge. But my gift is it's wisdom to impact blueprint, if you want to check that out. Yeah. And so I guess, David, now we're ready to go into breakout rooms. Is that right?
All you got to do is push the button.
Okay. So I'm going to invite you in, and please check them out if there's any breakout rooms or if something you'd like that isn't listed, let me know, but I think you'll find something here. So we will go to the breakout.
And wait there for a minute, because it takes a minute for people to push the button and find them.
Can you run through a list of what they are again, so people?
Okay. Well, so David didn't tell me what we used before. Oh, he did mention a bit. Anyway, so I made these up from what I can remember. So we have marketing for quick wins, healing with horses and more, artists unite and thrive, mindset and energy work, business coaching for success. All right.
Sounds like a good deal.
So
okay.
People, how do they get into the rooms and how do they come back out and move to a different one?
When you go in, so you'll see the list will pop up and you can pick it and you can actually look and see who's in each one. And then anytime you're in the room, there's always an option to leave and go to another room. And when you go back out of the room, you'll see the list again. Yeah, so it's a great way to get to know people more intimately. If there's somebody you want to talk to, go to that room or the topic. And then, David, what do we say? How long are we doing this?
Well, they can go 20 minutes and I'll broadcast, or you can broadcast a message saying, if you didn't move, maybe move.
Okay. And then we'll aim to come back together like 20 after or something.
Yeah, leave us 10 minutes at the end for gratitude.
Okay. All right. So here we go. See you soon.
We'll wait till you push the button. So, see you, Peter.
All right.
Where's the
am I
button?
doing-
What button?
Well, she
Okay.
didn't push it yet. She's getting ready.
Okay.
Okay. I may not be doing this correctly.
You click more and then join breakout room, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm. Oh, okay.
Oh, there you go.
Wait.
So
You
you're
see
there.
it?
Yeah, I see it.
Okay.
How do I go? You have the rooms open.
It's
So
where do I find the room?
they're not open now. They were open. They seem to have closed.
Okay, they closed.
Oh, here it is. Join breakout room.
If you go to the more button on the bottom of your screen,
Yeah.
you can click breakout rooms and choose.
Okay.
Yeah, some people are already in them, so I think you can.
Okay. Close plan. Oh, I see. Oh, I see. It says join.
I don't have it.
At the bottom, it says join. Yeah.
Scroll down.
Yeah. You press on the breakout room and scroll down, and then you can see little blue join buttons. Like,
This is my first time, so I don't.
you're doing well.
It seems different than when you did it, but
So you can join marketing for quick wins or healing with horses, artists, mindset, energy work, business coaching. Dawn is in there already. Everybody else has yet to choose anything. I can assign you all randomly, but I'm going to go ahead and move George into a room. Okay.
Okay, your breakout rooms.
Assign to artist.
I don't see any of the rooms.
Oh, Tom, I'm going to move you. Let's see. I'll help out. Where's Tom? Tom. Yeah, you just got to scroll down. I'll move you to, let's see. Oh, let's see. Assign to and Grace Ann's there. Unassigned. Olivia, where you can choose the room, or I'll stay here.
yeah,
Main room.
everybody seems to like the mindset and energy work. So I was thinking I'll go to business coaching and meet Dawn.
Yeah,
oh,
just
there
go
she's
there.
back. Okay,
Go there, unless you want me to assign you.
Well, I can go, but Dawn looks like she came back. You're on mute, Dawn. I was going to go there, so I'll
okay.
see
No,
you.
I'm gonna go back. I didn't think
Okay.
anybody was coming. I'm going back.
I know it's funny how that works. Okay. I'm sure he's good.
Can you do it, Olivia, or do you want me to assign you? Okay, you're gone. Everybody's assigned. Okay, now we'll go to mindset, artists at work, move to healing with horses. Okay. Oh, business coach calls Olivia. Okay, Olivia and Dawn. Says, is there horses, marketing, quick wins.
For more, oh, there's David. He should probably hear this. But on the website, sometimes I wish the sizes were more uniform and that you could click on them and show them a little larger.
We can do that, Jim. I can do that. That's an easy fix. Well, it's about a 3-hour fix, but it's easy.
Is there anything you can't do, David?
Right.
I can't be humble.
You're pretty humble.
Maybe deserve that.
But I was just saying how cool that was that Jim has you. You've got his back, because getting all those online and getting them set up to sell, that's awesome. I mean, that is monumental.
Yeah, it's at davidbogie.com/JR, lowercase. And it's in the early stages. We got 150 images up there or something. It's quite a few.
Some I've forgotten about, I hadn't seen for a while.
It helps to organize them into categories.
Going back to what I was talking about
Go ahead,
with my
please.
friend Ernie, he does this radio show on some college network. It's a podcast basically, but he's got about, I want to say 10 or 12,000 followers now off of that podcast. And all he does is talks about stories of these rock and roll people. And he shows an album cover. He designed 380 album covers, and he shows an album cover and talks about, here's the story. I met with Grace Slick and Jefferson Airplane in their house. 3 years before, I was in school as an art student. 3 years later, I'm designing the album cover for them and sitting there asking me how to design this stuff. So people find that really interesting. And what's interesting about that is that these are today's college students looking and listening to learn about rock and roll albums from their parents or grandparents, probably generation. But it continues to build up. And we worked on, creating this museum idea for him where he would talk about those backstories. And when somebody's looking at the art, like some of your art, Jim, is hanging in some museums, that you record a little something, and there's a technology that's available where people can just point their phone at it, and it hits a QR code, and it tells that story. So it's just a process that maybe we could look into. They're up in, the people that created this are up in Canada. I'm not exactly sure, but that, there's a lot of things to be done differently. And I was thinking that even when David's designing your website, having a little vignette on the website about how I created this, because we talked about this a couple weeks ago, that I've always been interested in photography. I'm no great photographer, but everybody's running around with a phone now that they're taking pictures, and the quality of the phone is better than the first SLR camera that I ever had when I was in college. And I think that people want to be creative. People in today's world are looking for ways to connect and do something with their skills. And I don't know where I'm going with this. It's just something that popped in my head. But if you can help them accomplish that and show them in some way, and then maybe through that somehow you get a course going or whatever, that you can sell some course that says, hey, yeah, here's, as Olivia is talking about, the lead magnet, that 28 secrets to taking pictures like this. I don't know if that's of interest to you, but anyway, I'll be quiet. But those are just a couple of thoughts that come to mind.
Okay. Tom, so mute yourself for a little bit because Olivia is overwhelming us a little bit. So Jim Rogers has never been filmed with his face in the camera. So I'm trying to get him to be on film where he does these amazing processes of the metal plating and adding colors to the photos, and the composites I think are particularly interesting. And I think if we could film that and have the visual, but also the vignette typed out, that would be really good. So Jim, I hope you will agree to have that wonderful face of yours on camera,
Well, I think at Olivia's recommendation, I signed up for one course a couple weeks ago with Gary Rogers, and he stressed that you need to show your face, because there had been a suggestion similar to Tom's where I just talk about creating an image, what goes into that, and Gary seemed to think that you have to show your face. People want to see you. That's a little bit for me to get over. There's even the confidence of what I know and can do. I have to feel confident enough that it's good enough to teach, because I do think I've seen friends advance through teaching, by working with a premier company that teaches, but starting out at the maybe community college, doing their own different workshops and growing that way. So I think there is opportunity in teaching, that
Wow.
um,
I think so too. Jim, I'd like to introduce you to one of my colleagues. And at first, I realized you had some things in common, but I didn't see it until now. He is an accomplished underwater photographer who does post-processing with all the Adobe products and he has a top blog for over 2 years. He's been a top rated blog, and he uses AI to ask it, the last time I recommended the Apple blah, blah, blah for this post-processing technique. Has there been a newer technique, or has there been anything come out? And then the AI will tell him, oh yeah, there's a version 2.6 now. And he'll say, when is your information up to date to? And it's up to date like the last month. It's really up to date. So he can do a blog. He does a blog every week for 2 years, at least 2 years, because he's been a top blog for 2 years. And he does it at a resort. So he takes people diving every week, and then they can buy the pictures. On Thursday night, when their vacation is almost over, he does a slideshow of all the underwater beauty that he has created, and they're just awesome. I didn't know I was even into underwater photography, but it's that post-processing that I didn't realize you do. And now that I know him pretty well, he talks about that quite a bit, but he's able to sell his pictures. And he's doing a course. Again, it's on the underwater photography. And
send me a link to his work. I'd love to look at it.
Okay. Yeah, I would love to.
Yeah, it sounds like he's also like my friend, because the workshops that he offers run from $5,000 to $20,000, and so that clientele allows him to sell his own work at $3,000 to $6,000 a print. Yeah.
And I wanted to ask you.
There's a couple of things, Jim, that I was thinking about too. That one is there's a new multi-level marketing company called Shopley, and they actually have a whole section of art on there. And I don't know how well it's selling. They started last July. They were going to launch full globally in May, but they're a couple months behind. But when this thing gets going, they're already in like 150 countries. So you get a huge exposure. Now there's a fee to get on there and become a vendor, but it's something to think about. I can send you some info on that if you want.
Yes.
And then the other thing is, I belong to this. There's another guy named Mark Harbert who's a real expert in online video, and he maintains what somebody else is talking about, that you need to get these videos on YouTube. Everything today has to be video, like Gary Rogers was talking about. As Olivia probably told you, Gary will do your video or whatever, but getting the little clips, and I'm guilty of not doing this, so I can tell you that I've been with Mark for a year and haven't done enough of these, but get that YouTube channel and just start popping stuff up. And it doesn't have to be fancy. It's just get it out there. Like David probably knows the same thing, and they're not looking for long 20-minute dissertations. They just want less than 2 minutes, just little quips. And you could cut something into 10, 20 pieces and put it out there. And that really costs nothing. The Shopley thing would cost some money. Mark's, I think, like $500 a year or whatever, but he puts out so much content and so much helpful stuff. He's got hundreds of chat GTP prompts that you can use for this, that, and the other thing. And so he's a good guy. He's a real straight shooter, and he's made a lot of money doing this. And he just now spends all his time just sharing what he knows with other people.
What's Mark's last name, Tom?
Harbert,
Mark
Harbert.
Okay, I've heard of him. I haven't been following him lately, but if that's the Mark Harbert that I think it is, he's very well known and
Yeah, he does it. He's really good at online marketing, and he's literally made millions doing this. He's been doing it for 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
And he's not an egomaniac. Everybody's got an ego, but he genuinely wants to help people. That's what his purpose in life is these days. I'll send you some info.
I'm starting my YouTube channel, so I'm going to need all of you to subscribe and like. But David, I hope you're noticing I'm liking all of your shorts.
Oh, thank you.
That I see.
Thank you.
You've been putting a lot of good content out there on YouTube.
Thank you very much. Yeah, one of the things I do in the meeting, I switch to speaker only, and then I can take little clips that are 15 seconds. They like those. I put some Olivia's 15-second thing from last week. It was doing really well, and I think I did one of myself. And I don't know if I think I got Tom on there for gratitude somewhere in the clips, and people always like the gratitude message. I like it if I do a quick warm up, like this is for Jim Rogers. Jim Rogers can build his business in the following ways. One, he can do videos of himself showing his art technologies that he uses to put in color and metal plates, etc. And second of all, he can give me the prices for his website photos so I can get them up there. Anyway, so if I just put a little blurb, I can edit it into something. People like the little short one focus thing, like one-liners. They like, I don't know why, but they do. But Jim, we could get Siggy over there to film you. He's not very expensive, and sometimes I can trade with him something I'm doing for him for something he could do. But I think he would love it for free. Also, if you let him do it as a film festival event, he loves to film, make these really fancy artsy things for film festivals. So you might try Siggy.
Yeah.
And Jim, maybe it'll be good for your confidence level to know that we're asking you maybe to just do 2 minutes or less. You can really do 30 seconds. And people like that kind of thing. So it's not like we're asking you to come up with a 20-minute presentation, in the next few weeks. But if you come up with a couple of shorts, yeah, they're easy to practice. They're easy to just remember, and they're good for shorts out there on YouTube. Yeah.
Yeah, and probably this image I created last week, that would be something that people would be interested in hearing how I made it.
I'll throw this out there that one of the things that people do that are Shopley reps is people will watch what's called unboxing these days. So you order something from some company, and then you put the camera on yourself and you sit there and open it and post it online, and people are like, oh yeah, I'm watching it. It's unbelievable. The kind of stuff people will pay attention to.
I've seen them. Yeah. They
I did an unboxing
like a
video.
Product review. Yeah. Well, maybe I should try a different room here, but
how are we doing on time? Yeah, I was gonna say, should we go to a different room just to see what other people are doing?
Yeah, you're muted. Bye, Tom. Thank you.
Just disband and go to another room. Just click on the breakout room button and then scroll down till you find a room. And on the right-hand side of it, it'll have the little blue join button. So right now, the Business Coaching for Success has 2 people in it. There's a flood of people in mindset and energy, and there's 4 of us in marketing. We're the second largest group today.
We are.
might go to mindset. Yeah.
Yeah, everybody's going there. So I think I'll join Olivia, give her some company.
Where's Olivia?
She's
In
in
mind?
business coaching for
Oh,
success.
yeah, I was thinking about going there too. I think I'll go there. All right. I love you guys.
Love you too.
For a few hours to offer to companies how to bring love and gratitude into their culture. And we're writing books on that as well to, kind of be thought leading this idea, which just so blends so beautifully with what all of you do. So anyway, that's kind of where I am now. And I'm still doing the aging, amazing aging. And David was on my podcast recently. And so Anne-Marie, you don't know, but I'm 74 years old and I feel like I just figured out what I'm supposed to do when I grow up. Anyway. Oh, I guess you didn't know that either, Shelley. Anyway, David, I guess
Yeah,
back out.
Olivia got me to go to the Planet Fitness and work out there, which I overdid it and just tightened up my calf muscles like this. And now the chiropractor's trying to get them to untighten.
Oh no! Oh no!
I did an actual, I don't know if you guys are into tarot cards, but I did a tarot card reading last night. I do it like once a year, but it's not like I'm addicted. But anyway, and it said that I have things to learn, that I will get healing, and something in my past that I did, like trying to lift 180 pounds with a calf lift machine was too much.
Oh my gosh. Wow, that's great.
And then one, I can't walk. Yeah.
So,
anyway, thank you, Olivia, for that wonderful suggestion.
You're welcome. I didn't want to. Oh, here's Tom too. Do you think I should go to a different group, David? What do you think?
Well, you could. Our group might collapse if you leave, but I mean, if you want to just.
Hardly. Well, I just want to be a good host, whatever that is. Anyway.
Olivia, I think we're all new to you in this group. So it feels like we're bringing you a new space without you having to go anywhere.
True. Yeah, that's true. Shelley, you and Anne-Marie, I haven't really gotten to know before. So it sounds like, yeah. And Tom, I was sharing how you and I are putting together a workshop to take into companies to invite love and gratitude as a way for them to shift their culture. And then when they need huge transformational change, we'll call on some of these amazing people to do that with Purview. And
it's amazing that employee turnover costs U.S. companies $1.2 trillion a year, trillion with a T. That's how bad things are. And among, as David mentioned, millennials, the turnover rate is the highest of any group, and they're going to become the largest portion of the workforce. So no one thinks about lifetime jobs anymore. It's like I go, first time things aren't going well, boom, they quit, and they have no fear of finding another job. It's just amazing that they just quit and say, why? I'll just get another job. It doesn't even, like, for my generation, I'm thinking, oh my God, if I lose my job, what am I going to do? They don't think that way. So it's really interesting, and I think it's a great opportunity for all of us wise, experienced people to shed some light on these things.
Yeah, let's invite Shelley and Anne-Marie to share about themselves, because I think it's new to you, Tom, and maybe to Joy. I'm not sure, but so why don't you go, Shelley, reintroduce yourself, and then we'll have Anne-Marie.
Yeah, thanks. So my name is Shelley Sager. Olivia, what's interesting is I was also in the Philadelphia area and also spent a good amount of time working in the financial industries and saw a significant difference in cultures from banks and financial institutions that are very scarcity mindset, numbers driven. I worked at one that literally had me in the emergency room thinking I had an ulcer and constant medical appointments, and then shifted to another one that was very employee-centric, community-based, significant mindset shift. And I grew and had just this amazing experience there.
Wow.
So I have seen that myself, similar to you. So I have recently, within the last year and a half, moved to Wisconsin, left corporate, started my own path. Part of that path is my coaching, leadership coaching and consulting business. And part of my path is my amazing partnership with my business partner, Anne-Marie O'Shea, who is brilliant. So we're in a space of planting our own roots and figuring out our own business model. And I just want to say, Olivia, when you talked about thinking about what was holding you back in sales, and David, your model of getting to the roots, this feels to me like this is a place that I am right now. There's something in my roots. There's some word or something that I'm going to need to figure out to truly, like in my mind, the vision I have, and it's next to me, my vision board, is planting roots with a plant, with a flower that comes up with a strong, sturdy stalk that's strong enough to withstand, that blooms and blossoms. And so I'm in that space of putting all these pieces together. So probably not the standard intro, but that's who I am and what I'm bringing today.
Oh, I love it. And my daughter Vanessa is really good at figuring out those unconscious mindset issues, if you're curious to find someone right in our community.
Where are you at in Wisconsin, Shelley?
I am in the beautiful city of Waukesha, between Milwaukee and Madison.
All right. I grew up in Wausau, which is north of there. But
Beautiful area.
thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Anne-Marie, would you like to share a bit about you? Now that we have that tease.
Yes. And Shelley and I keep ending up in the same rooms, which is just funny. We're thinking a lot about the same things. But just even to piggyback on what Shelley said, I love your idea of love in organizations. And I actually wrote a paper on why can't we love people at work? So I just thought that's just so interesting, because I came from I had a really toxic workplace, and my parochial idea was if everyone was nice, then just everyone would be nice. And why can't we just live our lives like that? I just feel like it was a little bit naivete. And that's really what drove me to the point where I ended up meeting Shelley, which was in an org development and change program. And what led me to meet David and Grace Ann as well. And that was that's what my research is in why it is in the quadruple bottom line, which is, people, planet, profit, and purpose. And that's what Shelley and I are building, as a company where we work with organizations to ensure that quadruple bottom line. And that is loving everything for you, Olivia, and Tom, and loving our planet and the people, and just, moving forward with, intentional impact. So that's kind of where I come from. So our, so what we do professionally is we work with organizations on strategy formation, organizational assessment, and then strategy and change execution related to that. So
beautiful. It's so funny. We talk about love, and I did an article years ago for Conscious Company magazine called "Love: The New Competitive Advantage." I could share a link in the chat. But another one was the idea of, well, it just reminded me of how these harsh terms in business, you've heard of squeeze pages, right? If you've heard of these, where you land on a landing page and they just keep squeezing you into the offer. That's what they're designed to do. It's kind of like a funnel in one page. It's just to make you, want to buy, right? And then they often put a time pressure piece, like you got to decide in 5 minutes and it might be a couple $100. And I was really angry at this one point because of this pressure to decide. And I thought I wanted it. I ended up not, I think I got it. And then I fought for a refund because it felt very deceptive anyway. And that was a little bit of a battle, but it inspired me to write a blog called heard of squeeze pages? How about hug pages? And then I talked about how you lovingly bring somebody in to buy. So I'll share a link if you guys are curious about those or blogs I wrote. Anyway, so yeah, I think the conversation's changing in such a beautiful way because I also feel like corporations are the biggest powers on the planet. Many are bigger than most nation states. And so if we can get those leaders to open their hearts by telling them they'll make more money, but the benefits really are so much bigger than that, to not just the company, but the families, the community, the planet at large. So that's really fun.
I found out by talking to the people at the top that companies, sometimes they just give lip service to the idea that their most valuable resource is the people, because it is the most valuable resource is the people. But I found out that even at the top, they are still people. They might have an herb garden or they might do Reiki. They're still people, and they may be driven by the bottom line, and they may work more than 40 hours, more than 60 hours. They are a certain mindset of the people. But I think when you really talk to them, they want teams that work together. And, I was hoping not to go back to the corporate world, but I took a project in 2021, and my last corporate project was in 2022. I had 10 months there, but I found out that, they're trying to build community. And like David talks about, you've got the millennials, you got the Gen Zs, and we just recently found out, what is it, the Alpha Gen? They've never heard of baby boomers. They're like, wait, what are baby boomers? I don't even know what that is. Like, wait a minute, I don't know what that is, but the culture is so varied, and then their learning style is varied, and their thoughts about longevity in the workplace. And I've said it before here that we worked and worked because we wanted to get a promotion and we wanted to get a raise. And even if we didn't get a promotion, we wanted to get a raise. And I've heard it right into my ears. They say the best way to get a raise is leave and go to a different job. Just ask for more money at the next job.
There was actually a Dilbert cartoon about that back in it was so perfect. Thank you, David, for putting the notice out. I was just thinking about, I think that the experience I've had with really fear-based leaders are that they have buried trauma. That's my conclusion. I mean, I don't have any proof of that, but that's my suspicion, I should say. Yeah, thank you, Joy. That's so powerful. We have to remember they're humans. And Tom was a very high-level manager that I think probably everybody loved when he was.
He knows the guy that did the Rolling Stone tongue. I'm still excited about that. That's pretty awesome. Wow.
So, well, thank you all. This has really been fun and rich, and glad you came. So
I'm glad to meet the new folks. I'm glad to see you.
My
regular
fun. All right, so we'll see you on the other side.
We got a few seconds left, and then
okay.
we'll get whisked away. So.
Okay. So it's like I don't see anything.
Yeah, I hope our new folks come back. It's a lot of fun here.
Well, yeah. To the general meeting, you mean? Yeah, for sure.
Well, and even come back next week, just go.
No, I thought you meant to the breakout room. So like focused on the breakout room. Yeah. I think it's a very, I've been in a lot of groups, and this to me is a very unique one because of just the variety.
A lot of fun too.
Welcome back. And now we're going to end the meeting. We got about 6-7 minutes. And I want to recommend this wonderful book, Thanks a Million, The Daily Gratitude Journal by Tom Lemke. Tom, I want to show you that I actually am writing things. Let's see, it must be a page in here somewhere. Here they are. There you go. Here's this morning. Proof that I'm actually using this.
Ooh, I'm proud of you, David.
Okay, so we take and let's go around with the talking stick. And I was really grateful. I'll start. I was really grateful to Olivia and to Grace Ann. Grace Ann worked with me shaping the purpose statement today and then reviewing the slides. And Olivia did the breakout rooms. And I had a good time just relaxing while Olivia did all the work. Thank you.
Oh, actually, you helped me with the breakout rooms. I was getting so enthralled with our new guests that, yeah, so thank you. It was a good partnership.
Pass this stick to Olivia.
So you want me to wrap up here today?
Why don't you say one sentence gratitude for anything about today, or if you have a.
Okay. And we talked about how we want to really limit it to one sentence so everybody has time. So we're going to say the word period when you were done. I'm just grateful for meeting so many new people today and lots of familiar faces back here, period. And I'll call on Dawn. You're on mute, honey.
Thank you. It's hard to see the bottom. I can't tell if it's on or off, but thank you. And I'm grateful to Olivia. I had a good session with her, and we're going to connect afterwards. And I think it was you told me the saying about we ruin our health sometimes in search of wealth, and we weren't sure about the second part of how it went. But I thought that is a great little quote to use in some of my work around workaholism. So thank you.
Maybe I think it's we spend something like we spend all of our health in search of wealth, and then we spend all our wealth in search of health or something.
That's it. We spend yeah, thank you.
So you want to call on someone next?
Yes, I would like to call on Jim Rogers.
Thank you, Don. I'm grateful for the suggestions and opportunities that have been offered to me in this meeting, period. And I'll pick Jack.
Okay, thank you, Jim. I am grateful for getting to know a lot of you geniuses out there from the breakout room. I'm learning so much from people like Jim and Ken and Grace Ann and Vanessa and everybody. And I realize we have so much abundant creativity out here. So thank you. And that's my period. I will call on Tom Lemke.
Thanks, Jack. Life is great when you're grateful, period. And I will call on Shelley.
Thank you, Tom. I am grateful for this opportunity to hear such different perspectives and connect with so many amazing, warm people, period. And I'll pass to Joy.
Thank you, Shelley. Thank you. Today, I am grateful for Ken Long because for so many reasons, but I would not know about this group if it hadn't been for Ken Long and his humility over there, to introduce me to David Boji and Grace Ann and this wonderful group. So I'm grateful for you, Ken, period. Oh, and I call on Ken.
Aw shucks, ma'am. I'm grateful for still being innocent enough to blush in public. That's not that's an important quality. And I'd like to call on Anne Marie.
I'm really grateful to David and Grace Ann for the invitation today to meet so many wonderful people and gain insights. Thank you so much, David and Grace Ann. I'm really grateful for you, period. And I think Vanessa.
Yeah, I'm really grateful for my partner who is not in this group, but just feeling really grateful for him. He's everything I've ever wanted and a partner, and he is always willing to grow with me, which is something I've always strived for and never found. So it's really nice to be with somebody who is also looking to be the better version of themselves. So shout out to him and thank you. I'll pass it to, am I last? Did everybody go? Grace Ann, did you go?
No. Thank you, Vanessa. And I'm grateful that the best of the conference has come here to join us today. And the questions that they brought that help us realize more of the wonderful things in life. I don't like the word period. It sounds so final.
Well, we have one more.
I'll say au revoir.
We have Jim Rogers, Grace Ann.
I think Jim went.
Jim, he already went.
Yeah.
Oh, did he go already? Okay, good.
So,
But you didn't, David, did you?
I did. And so I'm grateful for you all, and I'm grateful that we're ending right on time.
yeah. Thanks, everybody.
you.
Hope to see you again.
Yeah.
Thank
hard
you
to
so
leave.
much. Thank you
Thank
all.
you, everyone.
Bye-bye.
See you again. Bye.
Bye-bye.